Davin and Jack are not role models. They're just two guys in a garage drinking beer and talking. Some of what is said is not in the best taste or interest of national security. Some of the statistics they cite are not 100% accurate. Do your own research. They may be wrong about anything and everything. Their memories are bad because they're kind of old and have been drinking. Oh yeah, always remember to drink responsibly. Who are we kidding? The only people that are watching this are their moms and some random guy who passed out with autoplay on. And welcome to 240 Tuesdays.
Welcome to 240 Tuesdays.
Welcome.
I'm Jack, that's Davin.
No, you're not. I'm Davin, that's Jen. No. I'm Jack, that's Davin.
I'm Davin, that's Jack. Welcome back. We appreciate you guys watching. Welcome to 240 Tuesdays. We're making sure we're all good. We got the text message going. We're looking at all the good stuff going on. This week, we have a few announcements. We are still not sponsored by anybody at all. The numbers keep going up. We're just two guys having fun and doing what we need to. So,
And thank you.
Thank you. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, whatever, share. Most people, just do that. Help us out for anything. Beer costs a lot. This week, beer costs a little bit more than normal. So we got some good stuff going on. This week, we got a few cool things going on. We're going to start out this week with two topics. Just so everybody knows, next week, we will not have a podcast.
Yeah. I'm on vacation.
Somebody gets to go on vacation.
Yeah.
So we will not have a podcast next week. But the week after that, we're going to change the format up, make sure we get a little spicy, get into some pretty major topics going on.
Keep it fun.
Keep it fun. I'm checking live chat right now. I just want to make sure. Post something on live chat. We'll answer the questions every now and then and go from there.
For sure.
This week's first topic, I got to find the button. We got the flame on. Flame on. We're talking vaccines.
Yeah.
And it's my week to start. So we got two major hot topics this week, starting with vaccines. We're going to both say our opinion. I'm going to start the timer right now. We're going to go 2 10-minute timers of vaccine. Well, the first topic is vaccines. And we are starting. So, vaccines causing autism, which is 100%
with a bang.
Bang, boom, blow that shit up. It's fake. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
The amount of people that actually have vaccines or need vaccines to keep these diseases out of the country in the world is a good thing. It's great. If anybody has seen somebody who has the measles or the mumps or polio, it is a horrible disease that is not good for anybody to have.
No.
Well, you just said no, but you're going to disagree with me, so I'm afraid to know where you're going with this.
No, I was saying no, it's not good for anybody to have, so I'm agreeing with you in that respect. I don't know where you're going, but yeah.
So we pick these topics in general. Jack comes over after work. We're sitting here. I have a list. He has a list. And literally 5 minutes ago, we're like, hey, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
And we just roll the dice. We don't have much of statistics or websites or any of that other stuff. We just got to go with what we got.
Yeah, and that's more inspiring for you. Because if we pull a bunch of random stuff out of our asses, in my opinion, the correct response should be, that can't be right, and then go and look it up. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the inspiration to do your own research is a part of this whole thing. So if we can inspire that with our own ignorance, I'm happy to do so.
So from my experience with vaccines, and of course, 6-8 months ago, Joe Rogan had a guy on his podcast who actually is great with not nuclear engineer, but the vaccine stuff.
Okay.
So, and his whole thing was basically it is set up for an economic development. Vaccines help people out, and unfortunately, in third world countries, vaccines, which are cheap, are not distributed to them because they don't have the money. So the big farm, we'll say in general, is more worried about people who want to pay the money, which I'm totally against, both from Michigan or have something in Michigan.
Oh, show.
Yeah, I don't want to say the name because we're a little podcast and we don't want that bill coming in from the lawyers. Vaccines are great. I mean, it's a good thing to have. Here we go. One of the things that United States is huge in vaccines or requirements for vaccines. Not so much the third world countries, such as Mexico. People coming over. There it is.
There it
is. Yeah, there it is. So when you have people coming across the border who aren't vaccinated as much, they're gonna have those diseases. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to have my kid vaccinated because the chance of autism. And the actual chance of autism, I'm just saying that, or any other side effect from the vaccines, is so small. They've actually, from the podcast that Joe Rogan had, that I will research and in 48 hours put a link down, says that they can actually at 8 months do ultrasounds and blood tests from the womb.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will actually determine the autism level of your kid from that.
Yeah.
Which is great. Vaccines are, I believe, my kids are older, but I believe they start around 2 years of age.
I think there's some that are right off the bat because like a couple folks we work with have their kids are in like, you get some shots almost immediately, and then like a year later you get more and that kind of thing. Because you have to, it's a whole gamut of vaccinations.
Yeah. But autism, vaccines are great to have. You gotta have vaccines.
Yeah.
Polio, measles, look it up on the internet. I mean, measles is horrible for a kid to have.
For sure.
And it's just a crazy thing to do.
And even like now, I totally did not expect you to go this way because vaccines are tremendously important for a variety of reasons, and there are so many great vaccines out there, and just ways to protect yourself from the potential hazards of the future, and also protect society at large, because when you choose for stupid, disproven reasons from a doctor who's disbarred, or not disbarred, lost his medical license, that as the reason for not vaccinating your child, you're an idiot and you're endangering your child. In my opinion, that should be child abuse. But if for example, somebody does fly in as a tourist into the U.S. and perhaps they're not vaccinated, or maybe they're carrying something, and then your unvaccinated child happens to be on the same swing set as them, you've just begun an outbreak, and that is your fault explicitly. And it is horrible, and maybe your kid does pull through, and I hope for your sake and theirs he or she does, but some of them won't, and that's your fault and you're responsible. So vaccinate yourself and vaccinate your children. As an adult, get your boosters, because it is your responsibility to society at large, and protect yourself as a person. Because the vaccines is a tremendous gift of science to functionally eliminate diseases as long as the herd adequately protects itself. And it's when there's those deviations start being made that people, that we have a resurgence. Like, it's an absolute humanitarian embarrassment that measles is coming back. Like, it's only on a grand scale a very small portion of people, but it's still an embarrassingly high amount, and it's those folks' fault.
I turn the light off because one, you're agreeing with me.
Yeah.
And two, somebody does not know how to make a U-turn in a 3-point turn in front of my house. On there, so all right, we're into that.
Yeah, we agree. Get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And vaccinate your kids. And autism is a ridiculous, non-existent side effect of vaccines. Moving on.
Illegal aliens aren't vaccinated.
Oh my God! I'm not even. No.
Yeah,
No.
I had
We're
to
not
put
touching
something.
that.
I had to put something on,
No,
so we
we-
disagreed on that.
Oh my god. Immigration Part 2 coming soon.
Immigration Part 2
We're not touching
is
that right
coming
now.
soon, and
Just-
it's
damn.
gonna happen. So just bear with us right now. Next topic.
Next topic.
Flame on.
Oh, this one will be good. I hope.
Flame on. Oh, there's somebody coming to meet my daughter at the house right now. Just what I want to see. Let me have another drink on that topic and subject. Oh, have teenage kids. Hey, just so everybody knows out in the podcast, I changed the red light above my head so you can actually see that I have hair. I've worked on the lighting. Home Depot for $22 has helped us out.
Heck yeah.
And
I think it's nice. You did a great job.
no, we're working it. I mean, we're the most redneck podcast, I hope, out there.
Or ghetto.
I'm good with ghetto. I still have that cough. Of course, the doctor's like, hey, it lasts 2 to 3 weeks. Suck it up. We're not doing nothing for you. So
Yeah.
every now and then I might cough. I'll try and hide it on there. And we'll move on to the second subject.
Am I starting?
Do you want to start or I'll start?
No, I actually you should
Okay.
say it.
Me?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. So tonight is my night. So we're talking about GMOs, which is organically modified,
Genetically modified.
organisms.
Yeah.
So people in science is great. Science is a great thing. It's good. The question is when somebody actually takes the DNA of a plant and can modify a piece of corn or a green bean or another vegetable, fruit, whatever, and change the DNA scientifically with steroids, hormones, whatever, and they can produce twice the amount of corn or green beans or peas.
Or rice. Or various.
Yeah, various things. Is that healthy? Now, society's growing, and the world's getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
One day, Fifth Element, we're all just going to be Blade Runner 20 stories high because the world's overpopulated.
Probably.
Do we need that food? We need more food.
Mm-hmm.
So, is GMOs a good thing? I don't think it is. I think that when you start to genetically modify food and change the DNA of a plant and the structure of things get a little wonky. My backing on that, we're actually looking at, okay, so from the 30s to 50s, 30s to 60s, 1900s to 50s,
Okay.
everybody was skinnier. BMI,
Okay.
Basmont
Body mass index.
body
Yeah,
mass
yeah.
index was actually structured closer to World War I, World War II,
Mm-hmm.
where everybody was a lot skinnier, thinner. We didn't have McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's. I didn't say all those. Nobody send me a letter. It's okay. And everybody was a lot healthier. And in the 70s to 80s and definitely 90s, when all these places started coming up,
Okay.
all of a sudden, everybody's a lot larger.
Yeah, but okay, I wouldn't attribute that to GMOs so much as shoving corn syrup into everything and sugar into everything to fatten people up. Quick side note, the fat causes heart disease argument was funded by the sugar industry because sugar is horrible for you and should be avoided at all costs unless it's in beer. but
242.
but anyway, that's a side tangent. But yeah, that's just a huge problem with the fast food industry is they found out that the balance of salt and sweet is literally the greatest sensation you can taste in your mouth, and that's why people want McDonald's. That's why it's so easy to get addicted to fast food, and because of that combination. But anyway, returning to the main topic of GMOs, I think GMOs are fantastic with one very important exception, which I'll get to in a minute. The vast majority of GMOs are designed to increase product. And the reason for that is so that we can feed hungry people. They can modify plants to require less water and to amplify their output for the average field or harvest rather. And so so overall, I think they're great, and the vast majority of studies, which obviously there are counter arguments to it depending on what you research, do your research. But the vast majority from my research indicate that they are they're not influencing you in a significant way or a noticeable way at all if you're consuming genetically modified food versus organic food. Your personal opinion is yours, and I absolutely respect it, and if you choose to go the organic route, more power to you. I don't care personally, and I will eat whatever I want, and I will fully support genetically modified food to increase crop production and help out the people that need the help.
People that need the help. Hang on, let
Yeah,
me jump in
of
here,
course.
so we can have some things. Here's the situation when we're looking at food and people. If the organic slash, we got another person pulling up in front of my house.
It's the same one. It's the same one.
They don't know where they're going, obviously. When you have something that's modified by humans, it comes down to, well, there we go. Next time we're going to shut the garage door.
All right.
Yeah. Teenage kids are great. Hey, watch, like, and subscribe. Yeah. Good times. When you have something that's modified, especially by humans, granted, back in the 1860s, average lifespan was 35, 40 in society.
Yeah, it was much lower.
Vaccinations, and we're living to 80, 85. Well, I'm not living to
Depends on your health.
Yeah.
And your genetics.
Yeah, things change. It just seems like one side of science we're actually excelling and going, hey, we're making everybody better with vaccinations, but then we're going to go back and genetically modify things. And when we start to do that, we have a lot more obesity, video games.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think obesity is related to GMOs at all. I think overeating and not paying attention to your calories and consuming a ridiculous amount of refined sugar are the reason.
Maybe some more irresponsibility in your habits.
For sure.
On there. That's why I'm wearing a black shirt, because I looked too fat last time, and I'm not very fat, but, Jack comes from work, and somebody told me that, well, Jack looks all nice and pristine, and he's got his button up, and I'm like, I've been home for 3 hours. I'm in shorts. I'm going to put a t-shirt on.
Now you're making me self-conscious.
No. Look, because you're the good-looking guy, and I'm just like the white trash with the grunt-style shirt on.
At least you...
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks, Brian. Yeah, that was my neighbor who is watching right now and driving by the house and doing that on purpose.
Impromptu cameo.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to talk about the exception because genetically modified food, I think, is important to humanity as a whole. The population is ever increasing, and we got to take some positive steps to adequately provide for people that are starving. The one exception, which is significant and needs to be noted and re-noted, is Monsanto. And they are horrible human beings and a horrible organization, and I do not like them or appreciate anything they do. A few key examples is they have cornered various markets with their genetically modified crops. Chiefly among them is soy, and if you're a big proponent of soy, I would encourage you to do your research about your soy-based products so that they're not made by Monsanto.
Soy story. So, just so everybody out there watching, young males, do not eat soy. It is not good for you. Soy actually creates estrogen in your body. So, a little story without getting in trouble again, because we're new. We had an employee at work who was overweight, larger guy, was like, I'm on a soy diet.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. And at that time, I was huge into CrossFit. I was like working out, got my nutrition down, everything was good. And I told him, I was like, have you researched soy? Soy is not good for men. So if you're a male out there, do not eat soy. Most of that is genetically modified, and it is not good. There was actually a study in Europe done from coffee shops because everybody wanted soy lattes. Well, after they did the research and the blood work on males who had soy lattes every day, the estrogen level actually tripled after they were eating soy. So soy is not good for males at all. Don't eat soy.
Or if you do, in moderation, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's
Moderation,
that
maybe
makes
once.
sense,
Yeah.
but like that had nothing to do with my point, but that actually is legit. So, but my point is, Monsanto's hoses farmers, and I have nothing but love for the industry of farmers in the U.S., and we are able, because of our land mass, to produce much more than we consume, even though we consume way too much, but that's a whole nother topic. But Monsanto, in the U.S. and elsewhere, has a genetically modified strain of soy and other products, but I want to talk about soy specifically. So, for example, their soy, like all plants, release pollen. And in that release of pollen, they fertilize other plants, and that causes the plants to grow. And that's how we get the fruits of the harvest and that kind of thing, to include soybeans. So the reason Monsanto are absolute assholes is that pollen flows in the air. And if it cross-pollinates another farmer's crop who happens to be growing soy, they will survey that landowner's crop, find their own soy byproduct in their field because they have the genetic testing to identify it, and then they will say, you are growing our crop, and they will take them to court and sue them out of ownership. And they have done this countless times, and they always win because they are fantastically wealthy, and they are pieces of human garbage. And like, I have nothing positive to say about them as a company because they screw the little guy, and they do it maliciously and hurtfully, and they only do it for profit, and they are pieces of garbage. So, with respect to GMOs, everybody other than Monsanto, yes, keep saving lives. Monsanto, die in a fire.
Okay, so just so we know, we've all heard the name or the word Monsanto. Is that a company?
Yeah.
So it's a company, is it like a pharmaceutical company?
I mean, similarly, but no, they're in agriculture.
Alright.
Yeah, and that's their gimmick or their bag, and they do very, very well for themselves and their stockholders.
Boom. Alright, so we went over 2 topics. Like we said, week after next, we're going to go over some spicy stuff. We're going to go back to immigration. Yeah. The second round of the Democratic debates are coming up.
Yeah.
And people are falling off left and right. Hickenlooper, we're in Colorado. Good for him. He's out. Good effort. Good effort. We're going to switch gears right now.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So this week, and what we're starting to do more of, we've always had a Colorado brewery that we represent. We got a growler. We got 62 ounces. Well, I said 62 because the wife's watching, but it's actually like 68. From Westminster Brewery, right here, right down the street from us.
Yeah.
We're going to start putting stickers on the growler every week. And this year we got the Irish Red.
I'm excited.
Yeah, excited. So this has been in the freezer for about 4 hours. We're good to go. Westminster Brewery recently changed ownership. I miss some of their old beer, but some of the new beer, we're going to try it and see how it goes. So we're busting out.
Click around to fix the middle thing. Because you've got your adjustment bars on there. There we go. Alright. That was just bugging the shit out of me.
So you want to change? Yeah. So, oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see the mist coming off of that.
Yeah. Alright.
And Jack's going to take the rest of the growler home tonight.
Because World of Warcraft got released.
World of Warcraft Classic at 4 p.m. yesterday came out.
And also because I'll spoil myself with delicious Westminster Brewery.
Right. And I want to stay married, so I am not playing World of Warcraft. That's another story in itself. So, Irish Red from Westminster Brewery.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Good stuff?
Reds are my favorite style of beer, and they knocked it out of the park.
So, why is it a red?
Because of the color. No, it's part of the brewing process and the malts and the, yeah, I think it's malt and barley. I'm not 100%, but it's toasted. And I think, now I'm second guessing everything, but I think that is why. I just know I love them, and anytime they're on a menu, I'm like, that's for me.
And when I actually picked this up, I walked in with the growler, called the guy ahead of time, and he's like, yeah, bring it in. So I brought it in, and he's like, what's the story behind this? Which was actually funny.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, cool.
So I told him about the podcast.
Jesus Christ, this is the glass I'm drinking from?
Yeah. Explain that. Read that.
It says, oh my, no, I can't utter those words.
So it's a Larry the Cable Guy, get her done glass.
Oh my god.
We had the Mammoth lacrosse glasses for the last 2 weeks.
I feel duped. I feel bamboozled.
Dude, why? Because he's a redneck comic that's funny?
Because he's a racist prick.
Racist. Oh.
And yeah, I mean.
Hashtag Larry the Cable Guy is not racist. He's doing what he needs to do, which is funny to make money.
Okay, I really like that phrase. And also, that's another reason I actually don't like him, is because it's all an act. Like, he's not a redneck. He's making fun of rednecks by pretending to be one, and everybody jumps on board.
Well, I would actually think that Jeff Foxworthy would be more of a redneck style.
That's what I think too. Shit, Tim Allen is more redneck than Larry the Cable Guy.
Did you just...
Yeah,
right.
I did.
Alright, there you go. Yeah. Tim Allen's funny. He's great.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's fun.
I'm never going to say that phrase.
Get her done. I mean, it's fun stuff. The thing with the economy and the United States that we're in right now, it's about getting your niche, doing what you need to do to make money.
For sure.
You make people happy, they laugh.
Yeah.
I definitely think the comedy side of things is kind of open.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I generally give comedians a lot of leeway with the topics they want to pursue and the offensiveness they want to push. It's just really difficult for me to be like, are you really like this, or are you just trying to be funny? Because maybe that's my hang up, but I don't like the guy. And if you do, more power to you. I don't. Yeah.
I think the whole thing comes down to, if somebody can find a niche that makes people happy.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're, and that's just me, I don't care if you're saying Chinese jokes or WAP jokes or...
You said what?
Well, I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to. It's just it's comedy. It's something that takes you out of reality for a certain amount of time.
I agree.
Where you can actually just have fun and just be like, hey, it's funny. Let's have fun.
The only difference the only concession I would make to that is that I think there are lines, but the lines are up to you as the viewer. So if you don't feel that your comedian of choice has crossed any lines, then great. And but I think, in fairness for the whole gamut, like Lisa Lampanelli, who prides herself on being one of the most offensive people ever, does so with an understanding and almost an agreement from everyone she's talking about and to. And I think that's why, even though she is crass and vulgar and pushes those boundaries, she is still successful. And so, like, I think that's the art inherent in the art of comedy is walking that line, because there are some tremendously funny people that don't have to dip into that. Just similarly, where you don't have to dip into poop jokes or whatever if you so choose. And so,
poop jokes are funny.
Yeah, sometimes they are.
Poop jokes are funny.
But it's and so, like, that's what I would say about that is, like, I mean, if that's your chosen avenue, I think you're kind of catering to a certain audience that likes those kind of jokes. And one of the things that really drove that home for me was Dave Chappelle, who I think is one of the funniest humans ever.
F your couch.
Yeah.
F your couch.
Yeah. But he kind of had to take a step back because I heard in an interview or a behind the scene, I don't know, sometime I heard Dave Chappelle say that he was making a joke and a random person with a twangy accent was like, yeah, and shouted some supporting racist comment in the middle of his bit, and he was like, wait, what? No, I'm making fun of people like you, but you're on board. And it, like, was a contributing factor to a part of him, like, kind of taking a step back for a while and analyzing his comedy and his presentation to the world, because he was so successful. And so that's one of those things where, I don't know, that's a tough line. I am not a fan of racist humor, but almost anything else will get a laugh out of me.
Alright, so I gotta jump in. Everybody just heard the door open right here in the garage.
I warned you.
So let me explain this. My wife, which I love dearingly, is 100% Italian. She has the photocopied Ellis Island from her great-grandparents coming over here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could maybe say something and get away with it.
I wouldn't have made that joke.
Yeah. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. Maybe you're right here on the table. So I gotta do some kissing ass because my Italian wife and my half Italian kids maybe didn't appreciate that. I love you, babe. And it's just the fun of it. I love comedians. That's got to be a topic. I mean, I think
I'm down. We can hit some comedians and stuff. Yeah,
I think
that's cool.
Comedians in general is just an hour and a half, 2 hours of just letting go of society.
Yeah.
You know, you have a bad day at work, whatever's going on in your life, you can sit down and go, I don't care. That was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, just have fun. I don't think society these days can actually do something like that and just let go and relax.
Oh, and we will, we'll dedicate a segment on it in the future, but, like, as a final thought, like, comedy as an art form is absolutely beautiful because they dedicate time and research and writing and put together this set, and the idea of the set is to give you about an hour, or maybe it's a shorter set, 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes, that you forget about all the other bullshit in your life, and you're just there to laugh with them and maybe at yourself or maybe at them. And it's such a diverse field that you can find the comedians that tell the jokes that resonate with you, and that's what's beautiful about it. And we can talk at length about that in the future because I love comedy and comedians.
It's great. All right, so we got 2 topics out of the way.
2 up, 2 down.
2 up, 2 down.
We're at 30. You want to do facts?
Yeah, start with facts.
All right, we're going to start with random facts, which I just grabbed from the fantastic website, kickassfacts.com. If you're not a fan of it, you should be. They post daily content, and it's always interesting. And they cite their sources, which I truly appreciate, because if you want to know more or want to know where they got that info, you can dive in. First off, on the lines of Colorado and beer, Adolf Coors III, who was the heir to the Coors Empire, was allergic to beer. So he couldn't drink beer. but he became the heir to one of the most famous in the U.S. Breweries, hands down. Maybe in the world, I'm not sure, but certainly in the U.S. I thought that was neat. Another cool one was aluminum, which is everywhere nowadays, and 100 aluminium. Yeah,
aluminium.
yeah.
From
Depending
the UK.
on where you're from. Yeah. And it's 100% recyclable, so recycle your cans. Or if you're in Michigan, turn them in for that deposit.
Yeah.
But
we've both been there.
Yeah.
You got to take the cans for other people that don't know or had not been outside Colorado. Jack's from Michigan. I lived in Michigan for a few years. You literally have to pay when you buy a 6-pack of Coke.
Yep.
You have to pay 60 cents extra on top of that.
That's your deposit.
That's the deposit. So then you have to actually collect all your cans in a bag and take them back to the grocery store and feed them in a machine one at a time to get your 10-cent credit back once you recycle them.
Yep. And then they go to be recycled.
Which is great, but homeless people, I mean, they miss out because they don't get those aluminum cans.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember being a little kid, and that was like that's how we would pay for our own pop. Is we would just collect cans around that we could find, and then we go recycle them, get about $1, and go buy a Faygo.
Yeah.
And like that's an important part of my childhood.
No, it was good because my kids were little in Michigan, and we literally were like, "Hey, go to the neighbors, ask for cans." And a lot of times, neighbors were like, "I'm not gonna. I don't want these. Take them. They come back with a full, 50-gallon bag of cans, and they take them down and get like $2.
Yeah.
And
I mean, shit,
it's
it
great
is.
for kids.
Yeah, and maybe you can get a meal if you are a homeless person and scrounge around. So, I love the idea of deposits. It seems weird talking about it in Colorado where we don't do that, but in Michigan it was just the way of things. And I think there's 4 other states that still have deposits. So whatever. But the point of bringing up aluminum is back in the day, it used to be the most expensive metal for nobility. And it was so exclusive that only the creme de la creme of nobility could have aluminum utensils. Lesser nobles had gold, because that's how rare it was at the time. And now it's flipping everywhere, and I just thought that was kind of neat, like back then. This one is actually like super important, and since I just found out about it, I wanted to bring it up. I don't want to get too serious, but the National Suicide Prevention Hotline just arranged with the nation to get a 3-digit number, similar to 911. So the same way if you are in an emergency that requires police or ambulance or fire, and you would dial 911, if you have an emergency with yourself or are feeling down or potentially making a decision that may harm yourself or others, there is the 988. 988 is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and it's 3 digits. If you find anybody you know that may be in need of a conversation, please provide them with that information, because they do tremendous work and they are great people. And so I wanted to put that out there for both of our viewers. But 988 is a really important step, and I'm really proud that they were able to accomplish that. Last but not least, this is a fun one for those of us who have to endure traffic for a majority of the day, or for a significant portion of time during the day. We've all been behind that gravel truck that has the stay behind 50, 100, 200 feet, not responsible for damage. And it's a big sticker. It's
Aren't they
easy to read.
I'm gonna guess. One, the honking was the neighbor coming back again next door.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna guess, and this is the liable or not liable, I'm guessing that it doesn't matter what they put on the back of the truck, they are still liable for not covering their load on a freeway or road.
100% correct.
All right.
It is literally just a scare tactic to make you think that if a pebble flew off there and shattered your windshield, well, they had that sticker so they're protected. That is absolutely not true. And you can follow up with them and get your necessities taken care of, as long as their vehicle and their load is the cause. And so, yeah, don't believe everything you read on the back of a truck.
And I noticed it's not just on like the dump trucks. It's on the belly dumps. It's on every single truck these days.
Anybody transporting. If a log, Final Destination 2, flies off and flies through your car, they are absolutely responsible for that.
It's their load. It has to be covered and secured.
They are responsible.
Yeah.
The same way you're responsible if you have a pickup full of random crap and it flies off and messes something up. Like, you're responsible for that. They are too. Just because they have a little warning doesn't mean they're protected. I have got to stop using my right hand.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, I was like, I got a ton of crap in the back of my car or my truck, and I hope every morning when I get on 6th Avenue, nothing flies off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there.
A friend of ours just had to dodge a mattress on the highway the other day because that happened. It's like, tie your stuff down. Like,
Yeah.
Don't be it. Come on. Like,
I had a buddy who actually just got a Camaro, and it was I want to say it's like a C4 or C5. It's an older one.
Okay.
And he was traveling from Wyoming, he's an oil worker, to California where his mom's at.
Okay.
And in California, he was driving down the road and actually got a retread under the car.
Mm-hmm.
Totally
Tore him out, yeah.
Tore him out. So the car is being towed back to his house as he has a rental to go back.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's unfortunately he doesn't know
who it is.
Yeah, who it is, but it was pictures as he's leaving Wyoming. It was a beautiful Corvette, and it just got the whole undercarriage front and back. He said is destroyed. After it was good. Troy, love you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, safe travels back from California. You shouldn't have gone there, but.
Alright. Moving on. Today in music, today in 1991 was Pearl Jam's debut album, 10, which is also their best-selling album, and on a personal note, Jeremy, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful songs ever written, and I love them as a band, and they absolutely crushed it. And I put this on here because I knew Devin would want to talk about it.
That's why I put the flame on. So this day, when Jeremy 10 came out, I actually loved Pearl Jam. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, great stuff.
Yeah.
It was. I actually had knee surgery.
Okay. Was that the first? 91?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the first. And when I got out of knee surgery that day, I told my mom beforehand. I was like, "Listen, the album drops today. We got to go get it." So my mother, who actually took me to out of surgery, we drove to Target on Mississippi and 225 on the southeast corner. She pulled in as I'm groggy. I mean, before YouTube, before everybody's like, "Urgh." And I laid in the car, passed out from knee surgery. She went in, got me the album, and I put that album on repeat for 3 days, medicated after knee surgery, and listened to every single song. Personal opinion, Pearl Jam, the first 3 albums, are the best in the world. From Jeremy, which actually predicted school shootings.
So much. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it was amazing, especially Jeremy on that album. You got to listen to it, watch the video. They predicted bullying and school shootings from 91.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think, and they I don't think that's ever not been a thing, but they kind of pushed it forward enough with their popularity. Yeah. And shit, MTV back then when they were still doing music videos. I remember seeing that video just being like jaw dropped, like holy shit, and really hearing the lyrics and having them resonate with me, like, damn.
Oh, it was awesome. No, sorry to interrupt, but that story was, I mean, I was passed out, knee surgery, in the car. She went in, got me the album. We went home, and I listened to it on repeat as I was doped up and recovering from knee surgery for 3 days. It was awesome.
Yeah. And now they're really important activists and have a lot of good things to say.
No, Eddie Vedder has gone way left. He doesn't know what he's talking about. After the first 3 albums, they have 20 more, and nobody listens to him. I'd rather go see the what's the band that pretends they're the band, the cover band
Spinal Tap?
for Pearl Jam?
Oh, I don't know a cover band for Pearl Jam.
No, cover band for Pearl Jam.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, there's one that comes in Denver. They're actually based out of here, which is awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
but I won't go downtown. I don't want to get shot.
Oh my god. I go downtown all the time and I don't get shot.
Well, you wear a bowler hat, so you can go downtown.
Shit. Anyway, keep fighting the good fight, Pearl Jam.
Eddie Vedder, go away.
Alright, next. Alright, today in video games. So I only snagged 3 day-specific facts. I think Davin has a few more. First off, in 1992 was the Super Mario Kart release date. It was the beginning of their amazing racing franchise, and
it was the beginning of I Hate You.
Yeah.
What the heck did you just do? Yeah. That red friggin' turtle shell. Gosh, I want to.
Yes. Yeah. It was. Yeah. And here they are, almost 30 years later. And still going strong with awesome racing games even on the Switch racing game, fantastic. Mario Kart, it's so fun. So yeah, that came out in 1992.
Quick story, you have a house full of teenage kids, and you're like, oh, I was around when it first came out, and you get on the Switch, and there's 4 people playing, and you get your ass kicked by some 16-year-olds?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not that happy the next morning.
Yeah, I got wrecked the last time I played on Switch too. I was just like,
I had my daughter's friend that literally, she has 2 younger brothers, and they beat her all the time. She is so ruthless. She whoops everybody. We're like, wait a minute, you're a lap and a half ahead of us and you're done?
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad.
That's awesome.
So Mario Kart, still making enemies of best friends.
Yeah, for sure. And love them for it.
Yeah.
2 years later, Earthbound came out on this day, which also fantastic game. Tremendously underrated. Like, if you haven't heard of it, please look it up.
SNES?
Yeah, for the US release, yeah. And then...
And I just say that because somebody on the comments kept going like, Xbox, PS2, what are you talking about? So we gotta just cover consoles.
Fair enough. And so, yes, I believe so. And then, but also just a great game in general. Look into it. It's fantastic. And it was one of those games that kind of challenged you to think more completely. And which it was, in that way, it was ahead of its time. Because it was like a role-playing-esque game, but it had some neat concepts. And so, it was a great game. On a less deep note, Zoo Tycoon came out in 2003 on PC. But that was part of the whole, conglomerate of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Dino Park Tycoon, Zoo Tycoon, and many other tycoons that came afterward and before. But kind of a tip of the hat or a cousin to like the Sims games and that kind of Sim City and that kind of thing, because you're building your park, you're designing your thing, you're hiring breeding animals and all that kind of stuff. It was a fun game. It was cool. And I saw that and I was like, yeah, right on. And that's, what are your video games?
So I actually watched a really cool video on Activision. We all know Activision. They have made a ton of games.
Yeah.
But they actually started in 1979.
Damn.
From 4 programmers from Atari. So back in the 70s when Atari was coming out and they were popular, these programmers were like, we want some credit. We want some royalties. And the head of Atari at the time quoting, saying, anybody can write a cartridge. And they're like, oh, really? So they actually broke off and started Activision in 1979, which Activision stands for Active Television on there.
Yeah, alright.
And their biggest claim to fame was Pitfall. Pitfall. They were the first...
God, what a great game.
Oh, it was great. They're the first indie developer and distributor of any console ever.
Wow.
Which was really cool. They're like, well, we can program it. We're going to go make our own company and get royalties from it, and we're going to program for this.
30 years later, they're one of the biggest companies in the world.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean,
crazy.
from hooking up with Blizzard and doing so many things, from a lot of the BattleTech games later in the 90s. Yeah. Oh, it was huge. But it was just cool that 4 guys were like, wait a minute, we want some credit. We want some royalties. We're doing the work. Give us some credit.
Yeah.
And Atari said no. And they're like, well, we're going to go out and do it on our own. And they did awesome.
Hell yeah, and more power to them. And quick tangent. Whenever you beat a video game, those credits are really long. Like, they battle with Marvel movies for the total length of credits. Watch the credits.
Watch the credits.
Like, those people made
Don't
them.
hit skip. Don't hit skip.
There are many people involved in a successful video game, and for you to just flash your eyes past them and make note of their name, even if it's a specific aspect of the game, like, they deserve that level of appreciation. And maybe you'll see them again developing another game or being involved with it, and you'll recognize them and appreciate them even more, because that could be another topic for the future too. But a lot of the people that build video games get shit on. But at least for the most part they get credit, and so please do, like, if you appreciate a game, do them the service of at least reading their name.
So, and also Pitfall, I'll turn the flame off, that was my bad. Jack can hit it too, it's under the table.
Yeah,
see the red light?
I got it.
Yeah, whenever you need to. It was the first game to actually sell over 4 million copies in 1982.
That's incredible.
And it was great. And basically, it's a game where you have 20 minutes to get 32 items.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's pretty straightforward.
So every time you get hit, it takes time off, and you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Which was really awesome.
Yeah.
On there. So,
damn.
August is not that great for video games because E3 in general, everything starts fading off and everybody's waiting for the releases in November and all that stuff.
Right.
In 1976 was actually the first cartridge system ever developed, called the Fairchild video game system.
Nice, yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, everybody thinks it's...
I don't know anyone that owned a Fairchild.
No.
I would wager the majority of people would be like, yeah, Atari.
Mm-hmm.
But...
So, hook up Twitter, #Fairchild.
Sure.
I'm sure it's crazy. And it was weird because...
They've got to still be around. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was the first cartridge, but it still had 2 games built into the system. So you could buy the system, play 2 games, and or upgrade with a cartridge when you wanted to play.
What a great idea. Damn.
Yeah.
Alright.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So back when you didn't need constant on access for internet,
Yeah.
to go from there. So, also, one more thing, 1987, 2 more things.
2 more things.
Zelda for the NES. We all loved it. We all watched it. We all couldn't play it, but we watched somebody else play it.
Hands down, one of the best franchises ever.
It was the first NES cartridge to actually have a battery backup. So you didn't need any codes, you didn't need to write anything down, you could actually save
That's so cool.
on there.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. Log your name in and you just select your character. You had 3 characters you could have different stories with. Man, I'll never forget that.
Oh, it was...
And if you got lucky, it was the gold. So it wasn't even the NES gray, it was fancy, shiny gold cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah. The gold, and there's actually 2 different cartridges The gold cartridge was the first one,
Yeah.
which is actually not as rare as the gray cartridge. Because the gray cartridge was actually released later to try and keep up with demand.
Okay.
And they just couldn't.
Yeah.
So if you have the first Zelda NES non-gold, you got some money.
Yeah,
well,
right on.
Yeah, 2.
Find a collector. Last and certainly not least.
Not least. August 1997. This was a game changer. It actually was the first console game to say that first-person shooters can survive on an actual console at home. And that's GoldenEye 007 for the N64.
Hell yes. Absolutely a game changer. Like, and coupled with the fact that N64 was the first console, to my knowledge, that released with 4-person support out of the box, like right away. And so you'd have your little quarter of the television, and each of your friends would have their quarter, and you would rumble it out, and you could screen look if you were a cheater, or you could focus on your screen and do your best. And if you choose odd job, you're an asshole. But but yeah, GoldenEye 007 GoldenEye was incredible. Like, the story mode was awesome. All your different options were incredible, and just overall, what an innovative game. And to revolutionize the idea of sitting on a couch with 3 of your good friends, throwing elbows and screen looking, and while you eat pizza and party and play video games all night. Like, that is what the majority of people that have nostalgia for console couch parties go. That is the game they think of. Like, it's incredible.
There's too many times you go to somebody's house and they have the N64 and you're like, oh, I got this. And you get your ass kicked and you're like, I'm going to switch it up. So on a side note, with GoldenEye, it's actually referenced in one of my favorite movies, Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah.
Odd Job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slappers
That
Only.
was a great movie. Yeah, Slappers Only, yeah.
It was the references. It's kind of hard to watch that. We watched that Saturday night on the house with the projector on the 20-foot screen, and it's just, you watch that and you're like, after the first time, the only thing you watch is references.
Oh yeah.
Like, what can I reference?
Yeah.
Like Battletoads and Pikachu and Mortal Kombat and everything else.
And they even tossed in for the movie more modern game references like Overwatch and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, but the book is fantastic, like, especially for folks like us that grew up in the 80s. Like, but it's accessible to anyone. Like my wife, who's not, her fingers are not on the pulse of video games, and but she still read it and was like, that was a great book. Because he did a great job. Like, you don't have to have all the obscure references in order to enjoy the story. You just get carried along with it and take it as it comes, and it's great. But for folks that are familiar with those references, it takes it to an additional level. Like, it's a great book and a really well done movie. I liked it. I don't have...
Done by Ernest Cline.
Yep.
And actually, one of the first 1 or 2 loot boxes.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Yeah, that's how he got it. I can't read, don't read, that's not my thing. And when it came out on Audible, I got it, and it was the most amazing book in reference. I'm going to change gears.
Okay.
I'm reversing. The second book he did.
Armada. I haven't read it yet.
Here's the thing with Armada.
Sorry.
Kill me. I'll clean my garage next week. Armada, which is second book, which he's about to actually get a movie deal with and do that in a few years.
Okay, cool.
Same concept, virtual reality, the future. But with Ready Player One, he took all the culture and brought it in.
Yeah.
With Armada, he stole so much from so many movies and brought it together. Okay. So you got to watch or read Armada. Listen to it, read it. I don't read anything like I just said. But it's like literally a Last Starfighter
Oh, okay.
mixed in with virtual reality
Okay.
and 5 other references. And when you listen to it or read it, you're literally digging like references every 10 steps to make a book.
Okay, so it's not. It's so are you saying it's not? It doesn't feel as original as the first. Is it still good? Like, is it worth my time?
It's worth your time,
Okay.
but you cannot think of Last Starfighter. You can't think
because it
of
feels stolen rather than
yeah,
like,
it just
attributed to?
feels so stolen.
Okay.
That you're like, you're going this way and this way and this way,
Yeah.
and I can reference every single 80s genre out of this, and you're like, yeah, it's not as good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because like I could see that review being similar for Ready Player One, but I get your vibe where it's like, yeah, it's not so much a tribute to or a toast to
Yeah.
as a okay.
No.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But on a side note, if you don't know the 80s or the pop culture references, definitely listen to Armada or read it. It's a great book. Unless you know and you're an 80s pop culture person, it kind of, I sat there the whole time going like, this is a remake of The Last Starfighter.
Okay.
But instead of an arcade game, it's virtual reality.
Yeah.
The same thing. They not arcade, virtual reality. He's awesome. They take him up to space because he's awesome, and he fights for the resistance against the incoming army in virtual reality instead of an arcade game. So it was kind of bad, but
Yeah. All right. I'll check it out. I'll weigh in. Last Starfighter, phenomenal. I love that.
I just don't get why a lot of people in general are looking at games or movies these days. I mean, they remake everything from Scooby-Doo to A-Team.
I'm just trying to make a buck. I don't know. Like, some original movies come out, and I love that. But there's such a big market for tickling the nostalgia feel. But, yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Alright, one more thing.
Okay.
We're at just an hour and a minute.
Okay.
Maybe a little more.
All right.
Do you love your job?
Wait, no, this is way too broad. All right, okay. So I say we do one each for the bucket, but I will weigh in on this.
Alright. I totally forgot about the bucket. That's my bad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to highlight this and have an explanation and everything on it in general. But let's do, I mean, we're at an hour. We'll go a few more minutes.
Yeah, we'll just do one each. But first off, yeah, I absolutely do love my job. That's why I've been there so long.
Does your job suck at sometimes?
I don't
Yes,
let
it does.
I don't let it get to me.
No, but it sucks at sometimes. But because you love your job, you fight through that suck.
Okay, yeah. The down days are made up for dramatically by the up days. And yeah, so that's, I agree with all that. But yeah, we should dedicate way more time to that idea because I like talking about it and I like thinking about it, and I think it's important for a lot of people, especially the people on like. I have a team of people that I work with, and I have other teams within our center that we directly interact with, and I kind of feel like we're all under the same umbrella, and I want us and all other businesses to find a way to love your job for whatever works for you. But okay, let's time out on that because I'm about to go off. Yeah. All right, bucket
time. We'll end it with this. Oh, I'm starting. And just so we remember this, Jack picked most of these, like 90% of these. Desert Island Band?
Oh shit, this is actually a fun ass topic.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite, like, you're pretty toasted, it's the end of the night at a party, and you're looking for topics to keep the party going. If you could have one band with one band with you on a desert island, living or dead, and it's just you and the band, who would your band be?
Off the top of my head,
Yeah.
Temple of the Dog.
Damn, We did just bring them up.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So, in the 90s, Temple of the Dog was basically a tribute band.
Yeah.
So, on a road trip, one of the bands had a wreck on their bus.
Okay.
And the tour bus flipped over and the drummer died.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a... he was dead.
Yeah.
So...
Cliff Burton, Metallica. Yeah, I mean, shit happens.
So, and Pearl Jam and like 3 other bands came together to do Temple of the Dog. It was actually one album. It was a tribute album for people, musicians that just died early, unexpectedly. And I would probably say Temple of the Dog because it's 3 or 4 bands, including Pearl Jam. No, not Stone Temple Pilots. Oh, you got to look it up.
They were Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
That's a whole other.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm.
But no, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, my mind is off, but I'm Temple of the Dog because you get like 5 or 6 people all in one in a tribute band. That's the band I would take.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm down. I was literally debating between 2 different bands, but I'm gonna go with Tool. I know. Well, I know your opinion. I don't give a shit.
Well, no, it's not so much about Tool. It's I do like the Pearl Jam and the Ticketmaster issues in the 90s.
Okay.
Ruin that.
Ruin Tool or ruin Pearl Jam?
No, ruin Pearl Jam.
Okay.
So, Pearl Jam died in the early 90s because they went against Ticketmaster and all the fees they paid. So they tried to go around that to try and make lower ticket prices for the fans, which it was awesome, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they kind of have a monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. So
what does that have to do with Tool?
Tool didn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't do that, but they still were able to stick to their values and actually come out with music. Now, Tool, 3 weeks ago, announced and came out with their first album, which was released online ever, because they were against the man. They didn't want to pay all those fees and all that stuff. They wanted to be for the people. So I think it was almost 20 years.
I think, well, okay, so they released all their back catalog online for the first time ever. and that was huge. All of their albums instantly blew up, of course. And then they just came out. Actually, their newest album, I think I've only heard the single. I'm not sure when it launches, but I think it's this week. If it's not out yet, it's this week. But either way, it's been 13 years, I believe, since their previous, and before that was 9 years before their one before that. So they take their time with albums, and that's the reason, one of the reasons they're my Desert Island Band, is not only do I love their music, and I think some of their melodies and rhythms, if you let yourself go, take me to a otherwise foreign place in my head. Just laying on the couch, eyes closed, listening to their music. Like, I feel swept away with their vision and their presentation and their music, and I really enjoy it. And I don't want to like oversell it, because I'm sure even the members of the band are like, yeah, whatever, dork. But I really love their sound, and I like what they do, and they can take all the time they need as long as they deliver an album that is up to their own standard. And if it is up to their standard, I know I'm going to be a fan. And that's why I would be trapped on an island with them, because we would just hang out and they would do their thing and I would drink coconut water and watch. And I could do that till the end. Like that, I'd be cool with that.
So one of the videos, especially on YouTube, do you remember the kids, the gifted kids at the school that actually did the Tool cover band?
I don't think I saw that. No.
All right. So it was a bunch of 12 to 14-year-old kids.
Yeah. And
they actually did a Tool cover band.
Cool.
And they did a song, and it was amazing. The riffs, I mean, it was awesome. So I was actually grabbing my phone because I want to make sure and do that. But
you can throw a link in the description.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. But there was actually a Tool cover band that a lot of the gifted kids, or gifted people that can do music instruments better than us, did an amazing Tool cover, which was awesome. But
you have to be talented to cover Tool, because they're incredibly talented.
Oh no, and I mean they had like 16 different sections all doing it together.
I gotta look that up.
In order to get it set up, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
But it was cool that Tool came out with a new album. They released it online finally, and it was good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I've only heard the single, but thankfully BPI's playing it in its entirety, so I get to listen to that on the way into work, and of course I'll get the album. But
even though they're anti-establishment, anti-government, anti-Republican.
Yeah.
That's what this is for.
So our desert island would have a democracy of intelligent people.
Yeah.
All right, take the bucket.
I just picked the last one.
No, I'm saying okay. Yeah.
All right, we need a few more.
No,
2 weeks.
One more.
No. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna add.
Oh, we're running low. Yeah, so you have 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah. Oh,
Get some more.
I'll get some good stuff.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I didn't know I put this in here. Well, I guess we're going over time. Laser tag.
Oh.
So, all right, this is a happy and super weird coincidence. Davin is barely older than me, not noticeably older, but
Nope, not much.
my first ever job was at a place called Laser Extreme in the Thornton Town Center, right next to Biggs and Time Out and Tazraz. And
Oh, Tazraz, that's another. I'm gonna write that down.
yeah, that's actually a great one. But so that was my first ever job, and you were a marshal for laser tag, and so you basically made sure people didn't run into each other, and you held up the rules, and it was pretty loose. The idea was to have fun and to allow the patrons to have fun as well. Great job. I loved every minute of it. We could talk for an entire podcast about the owner, but we're not going to get into that. But
Legal reasons.
but I absolutely loved it. And eventually I got promoted to a vest tech. And so I was able to actually solder on vests and try to repair wiring and that kind of thing, which partially contributed to my fascination with electronics and software programming and everything else. So I love laser tag, and I used to be an absolute surgeon with a laser tag gun, but I doubt I would even handle a few minutes nowadays, but that was my first ever job.
Nice. So in the early 90s, I was in Aurora, Denver, Hampton, Havana area.
Yeah.
And they actually had this, it is still around, it's great. It's called Laser Quest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've been there. We're not going to talk about that. But we've been to Laser Quest. So,
that might be in the bucket.
yeah. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. So, I graduated, we're going to say in 1996. And I actually worked there as a part-time job at Laser Quest. They took an old porn theater, which was 2 movie theaters in a strip mall. And they actually stripped it all out to where you had different levels and gear.
Yeah. Laser Quest is kick-ass.
That
place is
Laser
cool.
Quest is awesome. So I actually started working there in 1996 to 97.
Okay.
Close to 98. And it was just amazing. I mean, laser tag is just fun. If you haven't done it, there's only 1 or 2 places around that can do it.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's
so
fun.
I was working there for a few years, and then I was approached by a guy to come run his laser tag place up north, which was Laser Extreme. So, come to find out...
Freaking 20 years before we met each other. Well, 10 years.
Yeah, at least 10 years. So this guy started Laser Extreme, which is defunct and gone, and I went up there and ran it for a year and a half. And laser tag is awesome. The guy wasn't necessarily awesome.
He was unique.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, he was unique. So I ran Laser Extreme for him for a few years, year and a half, up north. Well, after a little while, as a second job, I was like, yeah, this isn't working out. So I bailed, and come to find out, that was in 98.
Yeah, so
I
that was
came
about
back
a year later.
Yeah. Yeah. So after I left, this guy started working there, which was just a coincidence as heck.
Yeah.
And almost 10 years later, we reconnected in the job we work at now, which we legally cannot say where we work.
Well, we first connected. Yeah, because and then we patched our backstories together and we're like, holy shit.
Like, hey, you like laser tag? Hey, what about this place and what about that place and Laser Storm? And I mean, it was just some good stuff. So, really liking just in general the laser tag stuff.
Yeah. It's fun though. I would highly recommend it. And if you can get the personal laser tag where you can do that with your kids or your friends or whatever, also very, very fun, and the technology has advanced pretty well. So you can have a great time just ducking around your basement and hiding behind couches and blasting your friends. Laser tag, 3 thumbs up.
Oh, I mean, it's just good stuff. It's literally one of the things I can remember that I'll just mention, and I'll have you toss this out there. It's the biggest workout for 15 minutes.
Oh heck yeah!
I
You're
mean, like,
running,
you're moving, you're sweating, you got a vest on, you got all this stuff.
But as a marshal, don't run. But everybody runs.
I will not run, climb, jump, or lie down.
Yep, nailed it. Nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. Yeah, the laser tag stuff is awesome, especially for, just people to get out.
Yeah.
Maybe one time we'll do a remote something from there, have fun, get a bunch of people out. But laser tag is awesome. It's kind of dying. The technology is old, but it's still just fun to go out and do.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to get around and you don't want to get hit by paintballs, go to laser tag.
Another subject we might cover at a future time.
We will.
Let me put
it's
that
already
down.
in the bucket.
Yes! Okay, so we appreciate you watching.
Thank you.
We will not be around next week.
Nope.
Somebody is actually taking vacation time.
Yeah, well.
Because I can't, so in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks we will be back. We appreciate, like, subscribe, share, talk shit. I don't care if you put a comment of a period.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
In there.
But yeah, to everyone viewing or viewed, thank you so much, and we love you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. This has been 240 Tuesdays. Thank you.